Hello members, let's get back to our last session. All right, are you there? Members, are you there? January, 20 to 30 minutes.
We are around.
Around, you ready for the last session?
Yes, we are.
Good. We're going to just do a short session and then we call it a day. All right. So, okay, we start. So, all right. So, as I've told you, I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen, guys? Can you see my screen? Can you confirm?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, that's good. So as I told you, that we're going to get introduced to Flutter mobile application development. So the first thing that you have to know is to know basics of that programming. We have already made some videos about that programming, and we'll share with you the link of introduction to that programming language, and then you can use that video to get introduced to that programming. Then after, you'll have to set up your environment of Flutter. So to set up the environment of Flutter, we've already done a video that can take you step by step to setting up environment of Flutter. But for this one, you can begin from there. I can show you. So the first thing you need is to download and install what you call Android Studio. So let me show you the environment that you need. These are the hardware. So now the software part, the environment software that you need. Okay, so the first thing that you need is Android Studio. So another thing is Flutter plugin for Android Studio. Another thing is Flutter SDK. So those are the three things that you need to set up your your Flutter environment. So I'm going to take you step by step to how to set up these things. So the first thing is download Android Studio. So download Android Studio, just simply come to your browser and search for download Android Studio. So when you search for download Android Studio, the very first search result will be for downloading Android Studio. So click there. Then it will give you a place where you can download Android Studio. So go ahead and click on this button to download Android Studio. All right. So if you're using Mac, you can also as well change and choose the Mac version of your. So go ahead and download Android Studio. Just this button and then click OK and then see download. So if you click on download, it will start downloading an executable file or an installer, a file that you can use to install to install Android Studio in your computer. So once you install the Android Studio in your computer, you have once to download and then install it. So then you'll have to to open Android Studio itself. Opening Android Studio and deploying it is very simple. Just simply go to your start page and then click on and then search for Android Studio. You'll be able to find You'll be able to find that software. So I'm going to open Android Studio and I show you how you can go through it. So I've opened Android Studio and it is now loading. It is loading. So it has dark and light mode. Me, I'm using dark mode. So you'll have to do this other thing that I've told you, adding the plugin of Flutter in your Android Studio. So to add in the plugin of Flutter in your Android Studio is simple. So after you've opened Android Studio, go ahead and click on plugin. You'll see the word plugins that are here, and it is there. Very straightforward. All right. So go ahead and search for a plugin called Flutter. Okay. So when you click on Flutter, and then you'll be able to see the download button. So if you download it, they may prompt you to install another plugin called Dart. So go ahead and install both of those two. Okay. So here I install Flutter. So I click there, and then I'll be able to install it. But it's already installed, so I don't need to install it again. So those are the two steps that we need to do. So the third step that you have to do is now to download the Flutter itself. Okay, Flutter itself. So to download Flutter, just simply come and search for Flutter. Search the word Flutter. So you search the word Flutter, you'll be able to see a button here for installing. So click on install to download and install Flutter. So according to your operating system that you're using, you can download for Mac, you can download for Linux, you can download for Chrome, for Chromebook. You can also download for what? For Windows. So go ahead and click on what? On Windows, and then download the Flutter in this zip. All right. So after downloading Flutter in that zip, you'll have to wait for it to finish. So once it finishes downloading, you'll have to extract it. Okay. So after extracting it, put it in a folder. For example, in a folder that you're not going to change every time. For example, once I downloaded Flutter, I came and put it here in my disk C. I have a folder called SRC on my disk C. That's why I always put my kind of source code etc. So open disk C, and then you paste here your folder of what? Your folder of Flutter. Okay, so this one, you don't install it Flutter like other software, like click on install and what. No, you just copy and paste there the code of Flutter that you have unzipped. Okay, in this folder. So once you do that, then it means that you're going to link, when you're creating your project, you're going to link your Flutter to this folder, and then to go ahead and create for the what? The project. All right, so let's go ahead and create the project of Flutter. So we're going to open our Android Studio, and then come to projects, and then click on new Flutter project. Okay, new Flutter project. All right, so once you reach there, if you have installed that plugin successfully and put it there successfully of Flutter, you'll be able to see the word Flutter here. Okay, so you select where you want to save your project from here. All right, so I can say maybe I want to save this project in my disk C. Okay, disk C in my folder called GitHub. Okay, and then I say okay. So I say that project should be saved here in the folder called GitHub in my disk C. Then I click on next. So the next question is going to be which name do you want to give your project? So I'll click next. So I'll have to wait. My computer is a little bit slow, so let us wait for it to finish loading, and then we go ahead and create a project. Okay. There's an error. The folder specifies as Flutter SDK and not okay. The problem is this is for the SDK, not for the project. Sorry. So I'll have to specify. Remember, I say that you have to know where you put your Flutter SDK if you still remember. So I'm going to select that folder and put it here. So click there. Remember I said mine, I put it in SRC and in a folder called Flutter, this folder, and then say OK. So when I do like that, it will be able to configure my Flutter with that and then I click on next. So that's where now I'm going to put that project. Okay, so I'm going to call this one Learn Flutter 2. I already have the 1, so this is the second one, 2. So when I say Learn Flutter 2, I select where it should be saved. So I want it to be saved in this place, in this project, in this folder. So after doing that, I can give a description to my project. Okay, then after doing that, I leave these things as how they are checked. You see, so everything is just simple as it is, but don't put space in your in the name of your folder, and then go ahead and now create the project. All right, so click on create. I think they don't need X. They don't need numbers. Invalid package name must be valid, that name, lowercase underscore. Okay, they don't want capital letters. Yeah, that is good. So I'll wait for my project to be created. So there you'll have to wait for your project to be compiled and created. It can take some time, so you'll have to be patient. For the first time, it can take some time. So you'll have to be patient for your project to be generated. So just be patient as it's being created. It has finished. So this is a project. So you'll have to wait for it to compile, to finish, so you can see the progress from here. All right, there it is. So it is just that simple to set up your project. So after, you'll have to run it. So to run my project, you have to connect your phone to your laptop or to your computer, and then do what you call, you enable what you call debug mode. Anyway, let me show you how you enable debug mode. Otherwise, if you don't enable debug mode to your phone, then it will not be detected. So I'll show you how we enable debug mode. Developer mode, debug mode. Developer mode. So this is my phone, my Android phone. So you go to settings, and then you go to about, and then you go to where there is it status? Yes, not on status. We just look for something called build number, I think software. Okay, so there is this build number. In whatever phone you're using, there is this build number, as long as not iPhone, Android phones. So press on building 3 times. Otherwise, if you don't do this, then your application, your phone will not be detected by an emulator. All right. So go ahead and click on build 3 times. Okay. So when you click on build 3 times, times 3 like that, you'll be able to get a notification, and then they will let you know that your phone has been set to to debug mode. So after setting your phone to debug mode, you'll have to enable the debug mode. So when you come here, you'll be able to find, the developer mode, you'll be able to find what you call the developer options. So go ahead and open developer options and then put stay awake, and then there is another important, this one, USB debugging. So if you don't select USB debugging, it will not be shown. Select USB debugging, and then you can set maybe other thing that you think may make sense for you. So after selecting USB debugging, your phone will be seen here. Can you see my screen on top here? So they are showing me that my Samsung A10 is connected to this desktop. So that one will help me to compile things as I see them on on my phone. So this is my phone, the one that has been on screen. This is my real physical phone. So I'm going to share. I'm going to do what? I'm going to run this application, and we see how it displays on the phone that we are using. So to run the application is also simple. So the button of running will be there. So I click on run, then it will start creating your own mobile application. So let us wait for 1 minute as it is being created. So I've clicked on run and it is being implemented. So we'll have to wait for 1 minute. It is still compiling. All right, when it compiles for the first time, it can really take time. So you just need to be patient. It's compiling. It is compile. You can see the process from here. So wait for it to compile. So when it compiles for the first time, it can really take time. That's what you should know. So as it is compiling, we can be looking at different projects, different folders that this app generated for us. Let me zoom my screen. So I can make my font size to be 16, so you guys can see clearly. So Flutter gives you these different folders. So this folder of builds, it's the one that will be getting our APK that have just been built. Then this folder of IIS is the one that will have the IIS configuration if you have to implement IIS. Then you have the main folder that you are going to work in almost for the whole of the project, which is called the lib. So inside lib, or as you call library, is the folder where we're going to put almost everything. Our Dart programming code, we'll be putting it in this lib. Okay, then you have Linux, we have for macOS, and then you have for test, and then you have for web. So the most important folder is this one of lead. Then we have a file called pubspec.yaml. So this pubspec.yaml file is the one that will help us to do what? To create conditions or configuration of the system. Let's say that we need to add a package in our project. We'll have to use YAML data. We need to increase the version of our application. So this YAML file is the one that provides the context or the scope of the entire what? Of the entire screen. That is YAML. So let's wait for our first screen to come on our phone, and then we go to the next thing. Okay, let's check again. Still installing, so I have to wait. My computer has some issues, so you have to be patient. For the first time, it can really take long. So just wait for it to finish compiling. You do a few things and then you call it a day. All right. As it is compiling, can I have any questions from you? It's going to finish, but by the time it finishes, we should be also done with questions so we can proceed with other things. Also, we can call it a day. So, can I have some questions from you, or remarks, or anything? Be free. If you've not spoken, you can say something. I think I'll pick a person by person because, guys, if someone doesn't pick you, you really keep quiet like you're not there. So it is installing.
Sir,
Yes, please.
is that in any way similar to Java or Kotlin?
Yeah, and they are different technology, totally different, but their writing is the same. If condition of that is almost like that, and on C programming is almost like that, and on PHP is almost that. Like they're almost the same. They're almost the same, but they're totally separate, different languages. And that is try to make things much more simple. Yeah. Another question? My computer is just slow, but it is about to have started installing it. All right, start putting your attendance in the chat, in your name and your ID. All right. It has finally compiled. All right, so remember, as you can see, our application is there. That is our application, it has compiled. So that's all you need to create a Flutter mobile application. Just setting up your environment, boom, then you have this. This application, it can increase numbers, okay? So if I want to write my name here, Flutter demo app, I can come here and change it from here, okay? Not here. See? So when I save, it automatically update here. Okay, you see, Mohindo demo app. So that is all you need to get started with Flutter. So go ahead and try these things out. Just don't leave them here, but go and try them out. They are really, really simple, as I've said. So that will make our today's lecture. Then in another day's lecture, we'll have to begin from there. I hope you have learned something new. Okay, so I'll get 3 people to comment and then we call it a day. Anyone who has not spoken, say something. Guys, be active, be active, be active.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, your name?
I'm Irako Hari.
Mm.
Can you try running the application on a different platform like web? Because I see there's a drop down.
Yes, you can as well run it on web and you run it in Google Chrome.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's all. All right. Let's have one more person to comment or to say anything, and then we'll call it a day. Martin Woi. Martin, are you there? Martin Kalema. Martin Kalema. Anyone to give us remarks and call it a day? Anything, just say anything. Be free. Speak, you're hearing. All right, that makes our today's lecture. I hope it was helpful. We will share the video. We'll share some resources that you need to get started with. And I recommend you to try these things out because they are not really hard. And you need them if you really want to make money from what? From programming or from development. So please create time and try them out. Goodbye and see you. All right, you're welcome. Goodbye, guys. Next section. Let me copy this attendance.